Babe, I'm ready to be a gravel badass. Welcome back, everybody, to another Gravel Badass. Gravel Badass of the day is Bronlynn. Bronlynn, do you want to tell the viewers about yourself?
Sure. My name is Bronlynn Thurman. I am an Akronite community connector, creative. My day job is a program officer at GAR Foundation, which helps support the Akron Summit County area through grants and a range of other things. But yeah, cool. That's me.
All right, well, let's ride some bicycles.
All right.
Bronlynn,
Erin.
tell me about how you ended up riding bicycles.
Ooh, okay, now or prior to now?
Well, I don't actually know what those distinctions mean, so you give me the whole.
Okay, all right.
The whole thing.
So as a kid, I used to like as many kids, I had a bike at a young age, and I used to just roll around the east side of Akron, sometimes with friends, sometimes by myself. I fell out of that, you know, in high school, and didn't really pick up a bike again until probably, I think I had a Schwinn that I rarely used in my early to mid 20s, but I didn't really get into cycling like this more consistently until probably 2019.
Okay.
I remember getting my first bike, my first professional bike, or I won't say professional, like legit, like bike that I could ride consistently. In early 2019 from Dirty River, I have a Cannondale Bad Boy. And I was determined, and some of this is because of a bunch of my friends were cyclists. So like you and Tim and Albert, you all like just went out and rode, and I really wanted to do that. And so I was like, all right, I'll buy a bike. And I wanted to be a part of the Metric Century Ride. So I decided that I was gonna train for the Metric Century Ride for that year. And I think that's kind of when the bug bit me. I spent that entire, I think I got the bike in like wintertime, and I started riding relatively quickly once the weather broke a little bit. And I trained up, and although it was me and Otis at the back of the line, that Metric Century Ride, I did it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
This whole time I've been like, why don't I remember this? Because I wasn't there in 2019. Go on.
Wait, why weren't you there in 2019?
I was presenting at a conference.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
wait, you weren't there.
No, I wasn't there. It's like,
Yeah.
I really don't, there's no way that the Century I remember riding with you is the Century, like your first. And I was like, but why can't I remember this experience for you? And it's because I literally was not there.
You weren't there.
Got it, okay.
And I remember we took it, down to Massillon and back or something like that? It was a down and back that year. And I think it was the second year that Albert had put on the ACR Metric Century Ride.
Wasn't it the route from last year, but the other direction? Or something close to that?
No, that was, so the first route was that one. The very first, the 2018 one was that. The 2019 was taking the towpath to Massillon and back. And then there wasn't a 2021 because of the pandemic. And then last year's was that one that was flipped.
Right.
And so I did write that one as well.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So All right. So you rode the metric century. And then, okay. So how would you, like if you kind of had to parse out like your evolution as a cyclist since then, like have there been phases? Has it been like so continuous and gradual that you look back and you're like, whoa, how'd I get here?
I think that so I'm not one of those people that like, I'm gonna become a racer or anything like that. Like cycling, thank you. Cycling has always been about community for me. And so, yeah, I have a few goals in my back pocket, and we can talk about those later. But for me, cycling has always been about spending time with my friends. And so, you know, I would say spending time with my friends, and I have found that it was one of the few things that really helped my mental health.
Yeah.
I suffer from, or I struggle with a general anxiety disorder. And I always know when I've gone far too long without being outdoors or on a bike or what have you.
Yeah.
And so I try to be consistent in that, even if it's like 10 miles.
Yeah.
Out and back. So mental health and community are kind of the core pieces of cycling for me. And yeah, I look back and I'm like, the metric century. So I guess the metric century has always been that sort of that point.
Yeah,
where
like a benchmark.
That benchmark. Yeah, that's a good word for it. I was literally the last one on the 2019 one. Me and Otis helped me so much because I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah,
I trained up. I had gotten, like, I think right before that ride, I had gotten to about 40 miles. And, you know, the metric century is the 62.4. And, I had no idea like what I was doing in terms of like hydrating myself and pacing or anything like that. So having him there to help me along, and he made it really fun. Was fantastic. And yeah, so then the 2021 metric century, that was a good middle to upper middle of the pack, which I was like, whoa! I felt so good in that moment.
That's awesome. So. I think that obviously those like physical capabilities and that evolution is definitely a thing. But I think that also from that perspective of like your mental health and like the community connections, I still feel like I've seen like an evolution. Like this is something where I think you and I have a lot of like similarities where like I need to immerse and absorb and then at some point it's like I come out of my chrysalis.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what I've seen with you in cycling, where you were purposely, well, maybe not even like consciously purposely, but it's just how you initially engage, like kind of taking a back seat, listening, learning, experiencing. And I feel like more so in the past, I'm so bad at time these days. Definitely this year. We've
been in a pandemic.
Yeah. I won't say what my view of last year you was, but like that you're more willing to take like that step forward as kind of like a leader or a welcomer or a resource if somebody wants one or that kind of thing.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I think that the confidence piece has been core. Like, I think my confidence as a person feeling more comfortable in my skin over the last year has definitely helped, and it's kind of filtering through my entire life. Like, I mean, my job, the ways that I'm interacting with my friends, the the, groups I'm starting and all of that. I think that, the fact that I am more comfortable in who I am, even if it's quirky and different and whatever, I think that that's really a key piece of that.
Yeah, it always kind of fascinates me how, like, there's just so many things that are so important and, I want to think of like a more profound word than important, but just important in life that are so chicken and the egg.
Yeah.
Like, you settling into your own skin helps you be, a different kind of cyclist, but cycling also helped you settle into your own skin. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you can't, it's just one of those things that you can't plan out. You can't sit down and make I make a lot of spreadsheets, but you can't make a spreadsheet and be like, I am going to ride my bike X amount of miles per week
and this is the outcome from that.
And from there, I'm going to be a better person in A, B, and C ways. But if you just do it authentically, then somehow those super positive growth outcomes just happen.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And it just, I do look back a little bit and just be like, wow, who would have thought? So I ended up, because I fell in love with cycling so much, I bought a Peloton and I started, I will be honest, I am a 3-season cyclist. I am 100% comfortable with that statement. Maybe I will get into deeper winter cycling at some point, but now is not the time.
Yeah, no pressure.
I don't see that in my future right now. But I did get something that would help me during the bad weather season to keep myself trained.
Yeah.
And it has been so incredibly beneficial for me and my mental health and my confidence and the ways in which I connect with people. It also, I am not one to often talk about weight loss or whatever, but it definitely helped me in that regard because I had moved from a job that was very physical to one that I ate a lot. The nonprofit space allows certain privileges that I don't take for granted, but cycling also helped me get back to a space where, in addition to feeling mentally comfortable in who I am, also physically comfortable in who I am.
Yeah.
So,
I want to hear more about the role cycling has in community from your perspective, both for you personally and your communities, but also, if we have time, how you feel cycling can improve communities in general or our greater community.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Personally, this all started because I wanted to spend time with my friends.
Yeah.
So I think that cannot be overstated. And, having you and Tim and Ben and Albert and Chrissy and all of you, just getting out there and being inspiring, incredible people has definitely, kept me in this and loving this. I've been able to do the Metric Century ride. I've been able to ride with you and a group of girlfriends. Consistently, I've been able to be a part of Dirty Rivers Yeti Squad or, I just joined the Black Girls Do Bike Akron chapter.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool because I think it had been inactive for a little bit.
Yeah.
But now it's back. And, you know, I often talk about, so in addition to cycling, I do a lot of like hiking and kayaking and just like all of the recreation, climbing, whatever. And so I started, me and one of my best friends, Kim, started Black Women Explore, which is a group focused on Black and brown women getting out and doing things together and providing a safe space for women and femme-identifying folks to go out on adventures and just explore the beautiful assets that we have in this community. So having that and knowing that there aren't a lot of people who look like me who are in the recreation space.
Yeah.
So I think that it was important for me to also like kind of jump into some of the other groups that are out there that are restarting or what have you. There's also another group, Green Recreation Org, which is also run by a person of color, or co-founded by a person of color. And I think that we need more of those communities, those safe spaces for people to, you know, exist and play, because I think that this sport especially has been very white for a very long time.
Yeah. Very white, very male, very moneyed.
Yes. And it doesn't have to be.
No.
So, you know, I think that me being out there and all of these groups being out there and these groups and helping to build these groups, build momentum for them, is important to keep diversifying this space. If that makes sense.
No,
I feel like I went around.
No, it makes sense
I think
to me.
like safety is a key piece of a lot of this. Like, do people feel safe on a bike? Do people feel comfortable and welcome in this sport?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you don't ever see anybody like you doing it, then it's really hard to envision being comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I think...
And you just need that one person to be like, hey, come along. Like, it's not so bad.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's so many... Hold, please, viewers. We're passing a peloton of bike campers. I mean, like, the thing about like small representation, or like small amounts of representation, and sometimes it can feel like it doesn't matter, but here's how it does matter. It's like you don't see yourself, and so you're still questioning it.
Yep.
But when you see the one person or the few people, you can, for me, it's always helped me overcome that type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like that person was probably as uncomfortable as I feel about this. Yeah. And they're doing it.
Yeah. And I think that's why, you know, back in the day, I used to post a lot about, I still post a lot, but I used to post a lot about what I was doing in the community. Whether that was like going to art shows or going to concerts or biking or hiking or whatever. I did it because I wanted to show that people like me, like, you can do it. Yeah. Like, I wanted to be a sort of example if I could be.
I feel like you're also like good about the balance of transparency with like, you're pretty open that not every day is like rainbows and ice cream. Oh, and you know, all this stuff that you do that mostly looks awesome, some days you just don't feel like it. And
sometimes I feel like crap, and then I overdo it. Like, I was talking about it a couple days ago on Instagram about how, like, I was burnt out. And I think it is important to be honest about that.
Yeah.
Because you can push yourself to the limits. You can overdo it. So a balance does need to be maintained. And as someone, and I struggle with that. I honestly, like, because I want to be a community advocate, because I want to, push people to get out there more, like, I push my own self.
Sometimes it's like, it can feel lonely out there as the cheerleader, and so you don't want, like, the people who have maybe taken a cue from you to, like, try something new or, like, whatever, to, like, have a moment of feeling unsupported.
Yeah.
But you still gotta, like, you gotta be your own cheerleader sometimes.
Yeah, also realize
in bed with a book and a cat.
Yeah, like realizing that I am also human and I don't have to do all of the things all the time because, that's unsustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I absolutely struggle with that. But here we are.
I mean, Bronlynn, we spent a fair amount of time together, so I'm pretty sure we could, like, talk and ride until the end of the towpath.
Probably.
But to wrap up a YouTube conversation, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about, like, how you envision your future evolution as a cyclist, or, like, how, what are your hopes and dreams for Akron as a city regarding cycling, or what's on your cycling wish list? I don't know, whatever you want to talk about.
So I think that the first question is relatively easy. Like, I want to continue to keep building community. I want this sport, this field, what have you, to be more diverse, be more inclusive, be more welcoming. You don't have to, like, be kitted up in order to ride your bike and get out there. I want it to be more accessible for all. And I think tied to that accessibility piece is to make sure that we're improving ways in which people can engage. And that means, like, having solid bike infrastructure across the city. Making sure that people feel safe and comfortable on their bike, riding by cars, that there are a lot of connection points with trails so people can get where they need to go. And also acknowledging biking is not for everyone.
Right.
But for those who are interested in it, like, we need to make sure that we are making it safe.
Yeah.
Personally,
and making it something that people feel welcomed to be interested in.
Yes.
Rather than an elitist, privileged.
Yeah. Absolutely.
White man activity.
Mm-hmm. Because that has been far too long.
Yeah.
But I think, like, personally as a cyclist, like, in terms of, like, my own goals, I am trying to get in a full century, a hundo, if you will, this year. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. But I think that's the top goal I have. And then, like, I maybe want to try some bike packing in the near future. I've never been camping.
Oh.
I know. Like, it's crazy. Like, I do all of the things, and, like, that is one thing that I've never done.
Okay.
And so I might want to try that at some point.
All right, viewers, stay tuned for Bronlynn bike packs. I can't think of another B for the first time you do something, but I will. Go on.
Probably do another metric century ride with ACR again this year. I think honestly, like, the hundo is, like, my top goal.
Yeah.
Like, beyond that, like, I just want to be able to get faster if I choose to, and do longer distances more consistently. Like, I'm very comfortable in that, like, 20 to 30 mile. Like, we tend to do, like, the 20 to 30 pretty regularly when we ride together. So I want to keep, like, pushing myself in that way. But, I am also not one of those people that I could tell you every single part on every single bike. Like, yeah, I have another bike that I have in mind of buying, but so I'm riding on a beautiful all-city space horse in international orange. But I'm looking at something else that I can play around with a little bit more. So we'll see. This is probably going to be my main bike though. Still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's so versatile.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on this ride and talking to me into a fuzzy mic.
Thanks for having me.
Babe, we're gonna turn around and have a beer and or ice cream Sammy, whatever floats the
Ice cream Sammy.
individual's boat.
Ice cream Sammy.
Bye, y'all.
Woo!